1 and 2, but deadline is I think 31st March, so you have more than 1 week left. We have covered up to 2.1 to 2.3, including email before, and then yesterday in the last class, not yesterday, in the last class on Monday, we have covered the domain name system, the theory behind that. There were two types of DNS system. One was iterative and another was recursive. Can anybody tell me what is the difference between iterative and recursive in terms of what? In terms of which mechanism actually iterative and recursive. First of all, iterative and recursive, in both cases, you have to use a local DNS server, right? So a local DNS server will be there, like here you can see the overall procedure. Host, that means the client, whenever we browse internet, sends requests to local DNS because we give names, and then my browser needs the corresponding IP address. So host will send to local DNS, then local DNS will send to root DNS. Root DNS will send to top level DNS, and then top level DNS will just send to authoritative DNS, and then finally authoritative DNS will return the mapping of the web server that was requested. And also, as you can see, I have specified this is local network. That means local DNS is part of the local network, and this is the part of the internet. So root DNS, top level DNS, and authoritative DNS, all part of the internet. Now, my question was, what is the difference between iterative and recursive? So in case of iterative, every time local DNS server will be sent the feedback, right? Root will send the IP address of top level domain to local DNS. Then local DNS again asks top level DNS. Then top level DNS will send the IP address of authoritative DNS back to local DNS. Right? So we have seen one particular example that is the extension. I think we have seen one particular example in here. So this is iterative or recursive?
Iterative.
This is iterative, right?
Yes.
Iterative. Just the thing is, local DNS server will be involved in every iteration. See, root DNS sends the feedback to local DNS. Then local DNS requests to top level. Top level sends feedback to local DNS. Local DNS requests to authoritative. So every time local DNS is involved. Now, in case of iterative, sorry, in case of recursive, I think already we have discussed previously, the feedback will not be sent every time to local. So when local DNS requests root, root will send to top level will send to authoritative, and then like recursive function, authoritative will send back to top level send back to root, root send back to local DNS, right? So this is the way recursive works. In both cases, local DNS server is involved, but in case of recursive, burden on local DNS server will be less. There are some pros and cons, because in case of recursive, local DNS will not get IP address of top level and authoritative, right?
Yes, sir.
So in case of similar queries, it again needs to go to root. But in case of iterative, as we saw in the last example, Here we have already seen the output. Local DNS stores IP address of all root, top level, and authoritative DNS servers. So whenever a similar web page will be browsed, then maybe local DNS server can directly request top level or authoritative according to the situation. So that is one advantage with iterative. Then we have solved exercise 2 in workbook extension, that is this one. We have solved this one, and you can see we have solved question 1, 2, 3. There are the answers. Anybody has any question up to this point? Okay, fine. So how many? Still less than 50% in the class. It's almost 12:20. Okay, let us continue. Today we will do some more examples on DNS, and I will not start chapter 3 today. We are, I think, aligned with the with our outline. So I will start chapter 3 on next class. We will do some more exercises on DNS, and then if we have time, we will see some examples also in other sections of chapter 2. So you have time today. You just try to get some questions on any topic in chapter 2 so that we can discuss today, and then tomorrow in next class we will start chapter 3. And also one more thing, I think we need to I need to inform you. There are some revised marks distribution. Did you get information in other classes? Any
No,
information?
no, sir. This is my first class today.
Okay, no problem. Actually, we are worried about how our assessment will be done, right? You are also worried about that. So you might have a particular idea about how the assessments will be done. There will be no midterm this time, so we have to actually assess things using assignments. So weight on assignments will be much more this time, and probably a final exam will be held, but still we don't know how that will be held, because that will be again according to the UGC guidelines. So we don't know whether that will be in person or that will be, it will depend on situation. But we will continue our classes, we will continue to learn. So I hope that will not hamper our learning. But at the same time, we will do assignments. Now, the assignments, since we have no class test now, so the assignments will be of two types. The first type, home assignment, I think already I have uploaded one, that is home assignment. And we will give you two home assignments. This will be relatively larger assignments. Like you saw one, chapter 1 and 2, I think there are 11 questions, right? 11 or 12 questions in that homework. So it's a little bit larger, and you will have minimum 7 days to do that. So before the midterm week, I have assigned already one, and after the midterm week, before the final, I will assign another one. So there will be two home assignments. You have to submit both, and both will be counted, because I will give you enough time to complete that. So there will be no option of not submitting one home assignment. Two home assignments will be given. You have to submit both. But to actually assess our other part, since there is no class test, we will take some class assignments. Definitely what we have done in the class, The difference between home assignment and class assignment is home assignment there will be more number of questions, you will have more time, and you will do in your own. Class assignment is like I will assess your understanding or learning in the class. Maybe I will give you 1 or 2 questions, do it in your paper pencil, and then you will submit the class assignment using like scan and then sending as PDF. But class assignment will be same type of question that we have solved in the class. Okay, is it clear? And in case of class assignment, maybe we will take 4 class assignments and there will be 1 option, like I will take 3. Okay, 3 out of 4. So this is about class assignment. As I said, the questions we have solved in the class, I will give you the similar questions. I will test your understanding. Maybe in the class during the lecture, it will take maybe 20-25 minutes. Okay, is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Sir.
we have covered up to chapter 2. No, I will inform you. Like for example, in the next class, since we have completed chapter 2 recently, and we have covered, for example, DNS, email, and HTTP most recently. So next class, let us take 1 class assignment only on email and DNS. Okay, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and today we will do some more exercises. I think by that time, actually, see everything we have to. We are in a uncertain environment, so don't worry about the uncertainties. We are all in the uncertain environment now, so we have to deal with that. We have to live with that. So take it. I will try to make your life easier. Don't worry about that. But we have to follow some guidelines, and also we have to do some kind of assessment. Without assessment, how we will assign grades? Okay, so that's why I think I will try to give you earlier notice, and then so that you can prepare yourself. But again, having said that, every class I ask you to participate with me, but unfortunately I see very few people participating. That is unfortunate, because I ask you some questions. If I ask by name, then probably you just notice. But every topic I am going very slow. As you can see, I am repeating many times. Okay, so please try to be interactive, more interactive in the class. Don't think how we can like the negative things. We are all in the uncertainties. So at least in this class, I'm always trying to help you. Even for the students who are not responding, I'm trying to make you respond. Okay, so anyways, let us do some more.
স্যার ক্লাস অ্যাসাইনমেন্টে মার্কস কত থাকবে, আর আমাদের কি এই যে ফার্স্টে যে ক্লাস টেস্ট আছে এটা কি কাউন্ট করা হবে?
Okay, okay, that is a good question. What do you want? Do you want me to count that city already taken?
Yes, sir.
জি স্যার,
জি স্যার।
কাউন্ট করলে
Okay.
ভালো হয় স্যার।
No, sir.
Okay, okay. No, anybody says no?
Sir, yes.
করে না স্যার, অ্যানাউন্স করা ছিল না আগের থেকে।
Okay,
No, sir. No, sir. এটা accept করা তো উচিত, sir.
okay, no problem. Okay, what if what if
খারাপ হইছে
স্যার স্যার আমরা একটা কাজ করতে পারি স্যার।
okay, no problem. What if I take 3 out of 5?
This will be good. That will be good, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
okay, no problem. Those who have done better, I think they will be benefited. Though those who have done not good, they have also chance. Okay. So that I will count that, but instead of 3 out of 4, in that case it will be 3 out of 5. Fine. Okay. So everybody clear about that?
Thank you, sir.
Percentage is, I think, class session. It was previously 40%, right?
Yes, sir.
In the when there was CT, but now it will be 30% in the class assignment, and I can specify here it will be 30%, and then in my case it will be 3 out of 5. 5 in the sense, 5 in the sense, be clear about that. 5 in the sense the first CT will be counted as an extra one. Okay, so those who did good will be benefited from that, but those who did bad in that, you have still 3 out of 4. And then home assignment, this will be counted at 10% each, so it will be 20%. Okay, and then attendance will be 10%. Attendance, it was previously 5%, now it will be 10%. Okay, and final exam, but as I said, still we don't know the way of final exam, so just keep in mind in the plan there is a final exam plan. Okay, so that is the revised marks distribution, and as I said, keep it mind one class assignment. Actually, class assignments should be based on, actually it should not be noticed, right? It should be based on what we have done in the class. So this is type of class assignment. We have solved some exercises, and then we will take one exercise, one assignment. Like I will assign you some exercise to do, and then you will complete and submit. Okay. So DNS,
Email and DNS.
Email and DNS, right? One class assignment will be email and on email and DNS. Actually, I think one thing I should mention, class assignment should be like, I am solving some exercises, some discussing some theory in the class, then maybe at the later part I will ask you to do something in paper and pencil. That is the way of class assignment. Okay, this is not class test, so that I will announce before, on that day there will be a class test, syllabus will be this. This is not like this. Class assignment should be like what I have in this case. I think it would have been better if I take a I give you a class assignment on DNS today. That is more meaningful. In that case, you will in the start of class, I will say you, okay, today there will be one class assignment. So you will be more attentive to the class. This is the purpose of class assignment, right? But okay, let us do it this way. The start of next class is on what? Sunday, right?
Sunday, yes, sir.
Sunday, that will be which date? 28th March. So 28th March. Sorry, Sunday, 28th March, we will have class assignment 1 on email and DNS. Can you give it today?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
স্যার যারা স্লো লার্নার তাদের জন্য কিন্তু টাফ হবে একটা বিষয় স্যার, যদি আপনি ক্লাস মানে
ক্লাস অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট ইনস্ট্যান্ট অ্যান্সার। অনেকে
Okay.
আপনার কথা বুঝে স্যার, অনেকে হয়তো একটু পরে বুঝবে, বিষয়টা এরকম আর কি।
Okay. 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 Fine. So in the next class, start of next class, I will give you one class
Thank you,
assignment. Okay. Okay, now let us do some more exercises on DNS. Any question, anybody has any question on DNS? Did you understand the example in the discussed in the last class? Everybody, sure you understood this example? If you don't understand this example, then it will be tough to understand the solutions, other exercises, solutions. Okay, you have to understand the basic, whether it is iterative or recursive, the basic example, how it is being done, what is the purpose of local DNS server, how local DNS server will know, have the information about root DNS server. That is another question. And how the entire database, entire mapping is stored, distributed in smaller databases using that hierarchy. So what is that hierarchy? I think we have discussed about the hierarchy here. Okay, this is the hierarchy. So this is another thing you have to understand clearly. And then finally, we are not going to very much details about the records of DNS query and response, but at least you have to know the structure of these DNS records. There are 4 tuples, and mainly based on type, the name and value of every resource record is specified. Okay, now let us, I think we have already done question A of exercise 7. The answer was given here, specified here. Okay, and in this case there were 6 resource records specified in a database, and first 2 represented the records stored in where? In the root DNS server, right?
Yes, sir.
And root DNS server stores data about what?
.com.
.com or top level?
Yes, sir. Top level.
Top level domain server, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
root DNS server is just make it clear. Root DNS server always stores the information about top level. And see, root DNS server will never have any information about the lower levels other than top level. Okay, so root DNS server will have the database only needed to know the top level DNS servers. Then in this example, actually this is a very simple example. The top level DNS contains information about what type of server? Authoritative, right?
Authoritative, sir.
Authoritative DNS server. Authoritative means actually, for example, google.com. Google has some authoritative DNS servers. Then Facebook has some authoritative DNS servers. But there are so many websites, right? They don't have their own authoritative DNS server, might be. So they uses third-party authoritative DNS servers to store their information. Like you have developed a website, you are hosting that website to where? To a publicly available server, right? Web server. Now that publicly available web server definitely has its mapping to some authoritative DNS server, right? So that is the way it works. And then authoritative DNS server will have the information about what?
Sir, web server, sir.
Web server, email server, FTP server, any kind of server, real servers under that authoritative DNS. So this is a hierarchy. Whenever we browse some website, that means we browse some web server publicly available, definitely that web server's mapping will be stored in one of the authoritative DNS server, right? So actually this is the overall procedure. So if you understand these basic things, then any question will be not a big problem. Question B and question C, I think I have given you hint yesterday. Question B says list the sequence of queries and corresponding resource records that are exchanged when C wants to look up the address of www.google.com. So this question actually asks you to list the steps, basically the steps. Which steps? But basically these 8 steps. Okay, so you can see there are 8 steps. These 8 steps is asked in question B when a user gives this address www.google.com. But the explanation in the question says you have to use the information given in this table in every step. Okay, so I am not giving the 100% answer here. It is saying step 1 to 8 using resource records. Resource records given. So for example, you will write like this. Step 1 will be what? Host C will send a DNS query, right? Query to DNS query. What is the DNS query? www.google.com to local
DNS.
L. So that is step 1, right? If you just relate it with this, that is a step 1, correct? Then step 2, we assume, it is, I think it is already specified in the question, assume that all name servers initially have nothing in their cache. See, if the local DNS has the entry in the cache, then it will be a step 8 right away, because local DNS knows the mapping. But it says assume all name servers initially empty, their cache are empty. So that means local DNS server does not have the mapping. So then you will definitely go for step 2. Now step 2, you have to write in this way. Local DNS L will send the query. You can write the query because there is a single query.
Root DNS.
And always, just to make sure you understand, always there is no change in the query. Always the query is same. To root DNS. But this is, you cannot stop here. Root DNS at 198.41.0.4. You have to definitely give this information because that is already specified here, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is a specialty about question B. You have to use the given information in the question or in the resource record. Okay, so step 2, for example, just one more step, then you will complete it. Step 3. Step 3 means what? Now root DNS will send response.
Yes.
Response
To local DNS.
Okay, now what will be, see, DNS query and DNS response, that has a specific format like HTTP request and HTTP response. this is also a message. So this has a specific format, but we are not going to that format. But you have to know in the response, the whoever will send the response, there will be the one required IP address. So root DNS will send the IP address of home, the IP address of no. Root DNS will send the IP address of home. Anybody? Fazila? Fahim?
Sir, Fahim Shakil, sir.
Yes, Fahim Shakil. What is
Sir,
the
IP address of Google.
IP address of web server? Google.com?
Ji, sir.
No, not correct. Tahmina?
Yes, sir.
Root DNS server will send in the response whose IP address? IP address of home. Okay, make it. I am giving you a hint. IP address of top level DNS, IP address of authoritative DNS, or IP address of the real web server.
Top level DNS, sir.
Right, top level DNS. That's why, see, that's why I asked you to understand few things first. First of all, you have to know this hierarchy. Root DNS cannot send IP address of google.com because root DNS has no information about what? About level 3 and level 4.
Level 4
root
top.
DNS has only information about level 1, that is top level DNS.
Yes.
Right? Otherwise, what is the advantage of having different hierarchy? If I give all the records to root DNS servers, there is of no use, right? The database is divided into different layers. That's why it is advantageous. So you have to understand, no DNS will have complete data. Every DNS server will have only information about its underlying level. So root will have information about top level DNS. Top level DNS will have information about authoritative. Authoritative will have information about the final servers. Question, Shahadat?
No, sir.
Okay. See, I have several times I have specified this, but you have to understand at your own, and then you have to understand this example. Then you will it will be easier for you to understand the answer. Anyway, so step 3, it will be IP address. Okay, I should say IP of .com DNS, and that is what? .com DNS server IP. Oh, no, not here. So I think .com DNS server's IP is given. What is the .com DNS server's IP?
Sir, 216.239.32.
.com DNS server's IP. Wrong. What is the .com DNS server's IP? Reza, Imam Reza, are you there? Imam? Rakibul Islam. Bidhan says 192.5.6. Very good, Bidhan.
Yes, sir.
This is the correct answer. This is the correct answer because already I have specified root will contain top level DNS information. So if I want to know the host name or IP of top level DNS, definitely I have to go to root DNS.
Yes, sir.
So 216.239, that is actually the IP address of authoritative DNS, google.com.
Yes, sir.
Right? Also, you can understand this if you see the resource record. If you see 216.239.32.10 is the IP address of ns1 google.com. Now ns1 google.com is referred by whom? Google.com. So google.com is not top level domain. Google.com is authoritative. Top level what? Only .com. So where is the .com's record? See here. There is a .com's record. Okay. Now it's clear.
So basically the last one is the web IP address.
Right. This is the address of the web server. This is the address of the email server. And we are assuming, according to the records, we are assuming there are 2 servers under Google's authoritative DNS server. But there can be many more. Okay.
Yes,
So you have to specify this here. IP of .com DNS, that is 192.5.6.30, right? Is it 30? Yes. So that is how you should give your answers in question B of exercise 7. So root DNS will send DNS response. You have to specify what will be the IP in the response. This will be IP of the .com DNS, top level DNS, and also the IP you have to give 192.5.6.30, and it will send to whom?
Top level.
Local
Sorry.
DNS. Local DNS.
Local DNS and local DNS.
And then step 4, step 5, step 6, you have to write down your own. Okay, I am not going any more here. So step 4 up to step 8, complete yourself. So in the class test, maybe I will give you a different scenario and I will ask you to complete the steps. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now question C. Question C says, okay, suppose www.google.com already accessed. Just after that event, client C performs a lookup for mail.google.com. So normally what many times we just go to www.google.com at the same time in another tab in my browser, I open gmail.com. So it can happen. So just after completing the previous process, client C performs a lookup for mail.google.com instead of www.google.com web server. Now it goes to mail server immediately after the previous, immediately specifies that local DNS has already some information, right? So that means by immediately. Assume all records have long TTS. That is also make sure. Long TTLs means time to live. That means you can assume the records already stored in local DNS cache is there. Now list the sequence of DNS queries and corresponding resource records exchanged during the lookup. So again, you have to list the steps. But in this case, client is going to mail.google.com, and you know that the entries of different DNS servers, top level, authoritative, and web servers is contained in the local DNS servers cache. So what will be the answer? The answer will be 1678. If you go to the diagram here, okay, can you understand, can you visualize that after the completion of www.google.com retrieval, then local DNS server will store in cache memory the information of top level and authoritative. Now when it goes to mail.google.com, will the authoritative DNS server change or it will be the same? That is the question.
Same, sir.
Same. Good. Shahadat. Right. Anybody else has any problem?
Yes, sir. Same, sir.
It should be same, because you know all servers under google.com will have the entries in google.com authoritative DNS server. So google.com is same, only email server instead of web server. So authoritative will be same. If authoritative will be same, then that information is already in the local DNS server's cache, right?
Yes, sir.
So in that case, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not needed. These 4 steps will not be needed. Everybody clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that's why, see, if I specify 1 to 8, these 2, 3, 4, 5 not needed, because local DNS can now directly request authoritative, because local DNS knows the authoritative DNS server is google.com, and I have already mapping of google.com. So the answer will be 1678. Just this is the hint of the answer. You have to write like this. When I ask the question, you have to write like this, but this is the hint. 1678. Clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Rifas, clear?
স্যার আরেকবার একটু বলবেন স্যার?
Okay, okay, fine. Where you have, in which point you have problem, Taki? In which step?
16 স্টেপ সি স্যার, 1678 স্যার ডিরেক্ট কারেক্ট করছেন, বাকিগুলো করছেন এই জিনিসটা বুঝতে পারিনি।
Okay, so why 2, 3, 4, 5 steps are not needed, right? That is the question.
Yes sir.
Okay, before you understand that, you have to understand this. Already we have discussed this, right? And also in see, all things are related. If you understand one thing, that will help the other. So in the answer of the first question, what is the local DNS server's cache, right? We have the answer here. .com DNS server's IP, foo.com DNS. What is foo.com? Is it authoritative DNS or local DNS? Taki, foo.com DNS, is it, what type of DNS server it is?
Local DNS.
No, local DNS
Sir.
is
Sorry,
only
local
called
DNS.
local DNS.
DNS.
.com DNS is top level DNS, right?
Yes sir.
So
It is
foo.com authoritative DNS. .com is top level DNS. So foo.com is authoritative DNS. Similarly, when you say google.com, .com is top level DNS. Google.com is
Authoritative DNS.
authoritative DNS. So you can see, after the first step, local DNS server has all this information, right?
Right sir.
Okay, so foo.com DNS authoritative server's IP is already available to local.dns. Now see what is asked in the question. If you see, the question says client C wants to perform a lookup to mail.google.com. So for mail.google.com, google.com is same, right?
Yes
Authoritative is same. So since authoritative is same, now local DNS, so local up to local, it must request to local DNS, but now local DNS sees what is the request? Mail.google.com. So local DNS will understand google.com is the authoritative DNS, and I have already in my cache memory authoritative DNS IP. So in the previous example, why we needed 2, 3, 4, 5? Because this was not known to local DNS. So local DNS first go to root, then go to top level, then go to authoritative. But in this case, local DNS has the IP address of the authoritative already in the cache memory. So it will go to directly, right?
Yes sir.
Is it clear? So now
Yes, sir,
it
clear.
will not need to go to root and top level. So that means 2, 3, 4, 5 is not needed. Okay, anybody else, any problem?
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Sure.
So this cache memory is there any limit, or this is the server processor which actually process?
Right.
Okay.
Definitely it will be limited, definitely limited, but limited means how many entries you can store. That is the question. It depends on your capacity, right? So even if you think about very low capacity, which one will be removed? the least recently used, or the website that was not browsed long time, that will be removed. But in this question, it says immediately. That means just after retrieving the information of www.google.com, then it has given mail.google.com. So we can assume that is already in the cache memory.
So that means if we need to increase the cache memory, so we need to increase the number of processor CPU. In our local server.
Actually, it depends. Actually, it depends, because cache memory is not only processor's cache memory. Cache memory can be, I think, different types of cache memory will be there. Like an application that uses how much memory, that is also important. So your cache memory, your processor is very high, number of processors high, but if an application uses low cache memory, then it does not matter how many processors you have, how much memory you have. It also depends on the software development, how much memory you are using. You got my point?
Yes,
It
sir.
also depends on the implementation also. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But definitely, it is a limited memory. So it doesn't matter how large memory you use, there must be some limitation. So that's why when a particular website is not browsed frequently, normally cache will not store, or it will remove the entry at some point of time. Anyways,
Sir,
that is more implementation specific issue.
sir,
Yes, Taki.
this cache memory like that our PC's cache memory, na, sir?
Right, similar. But as I said, this also depends on your implementation, how much memory your application are actually storing or using to store the informations. Since this is application layer is completely implemented in where? Software, right? So application must utilize the hardware cache memory availability. Anyway, let us progress. So that is exercise 7. I think one more exercise, it will make our concept much clearer. And if you understand this question 4's answer, if you can solve this question 4 of knowledge test 3, I think the basic concept about DNS will be very much clear, should be. Okay, so this is the last question we'll solve. Suppose you open up a startup company, Flash BD. So it's a name of the company. For example, the company wants to create a website, and then the company not only create a website, they wants to set up their own web server. Not only web server, they wants to probably they are a large organization, so they wants to create their own authoritative DNS server also. Okay, so this is an example where we will try to apply our DNS concept to solve this question. Okay, want to set up your company network. Your network has the following servers. So which servers the network will have? First one, there will be a DNS server. Okay, now when a company, an organization creates its own DNS server, what category we can actually I think store this DNS server? Which category of DNS server will be this? It should not be root, right? Because root DNS server is not asset of a particular company. It is worldwide.
Local, sir.
Okay. One possible answer refers. Okay, local. It is one possible answer, and another possible answer will be authoritative DNS. Because see, Google.com,
Yes.
they maintain their own DNS servers. These are all authoritative DNS. Google may contain many more authoritative DNS, but there are some common top level DNS servers. Like for .com, there can be many DNS servers. For .org, there can be many DNS. These are all top level DNS servers. So when we say a company they will implement their own DNS server, right? That can be two options. There can be one is local DNS and another one can be authoritative. But in this case, as you can see, the IP address 128.119, is it private IP or public IP?
It's private, right, sir?
It's a private, sir.
No, it's a public IP, because I think those who have completed, who are doing network lab, you have idea about private IP or public IP. First, you have idea about class A, class B, class C. So 128 is which class? Class A, class B, class C.
Class A.
So class B, sir.
Class B, sir. B, sir.
Class B.
A, right? Class B. Class A, 1 to 126, first octet.
127.
127 is 127 is actually loopback. So
Yes.
class A normally 1 to 126. Then 128 to 191, that is class B. So 128 is the starting octet of class B. Now, second point is every class has a fixed range for private IP. For example, in class A, only 10 is reserved for private IP. You know about private IP. Private IP block can be used by anybody in the world. So same block can be used by any number of organizations. That is private IP. You don't need to register. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And public IP you must get from authorized agent, and two PC or two person or two organization cannot use the same public IP. It's not possible. That is centrally controlled. So anyway, in class B, the private IP range is fixed. Anybody knows that? 172, 16,
16 থেকে 30
Two.
পর্যন্ত। 30
right, 31, up to 31.
31.
172.16 to 172.31. So 172 only first octet. In the first octet, any other value is public. So you can see this is a public IP. Normally, the local DNS server is part of what? LAN. Right? So that should have a private IP address. And when you say an authoritative DNS, that should be public. So that will have a public IP address. Anyway, this is just the explanation. Those who are not doing computer network lab or not understand very much about private or public IP is okay, no problem. But in this case, according to the question and also according to the IP, public IP, I think we need to understand this DNS server is an authoritative DNS server. Is it clear?
Yes.
It is not a local DNS server, authoritative DNS server. Okay, then it has some web servers. And it has two web servers, in fact, two different physical servers, both pointed to www.flashbd.com. You know, Google, Facebook, they have thousands of servers. So every physical server will have a separate IP address, but their name should be same, www.facebook.com, www.google.com. So in this example, this company will maintain two physical servers, but their name will be www.flashbd.com, and also their domain name will be flashbd.com. That means for web server it will be www.flashbd.com. For email server it will be given C. For the email server, mailserver.flashbd.com. It depends on what name you give. You could give it mail.flashbd.com. You have to specify this in the DNS definitely. So whatever name you give there, that will work. And the physical server's IP is also given. So these are the servers they will maintain. And your company's email address is username. It can be ABCD anything at flashbd.com. So these are the information given. Now, first question: what resource records do you need to provide to the upperlevel.com register? First thing, my company, according to the question, they will maintain what type of DNS server? Again, what type of DNS server we should implement from the company? I have already specified this.
Authoritative.
Right, right.
Authoritative.
Authoritative. Authoritative. Now the first question says it is your duty because you are implementing an authoritative DNS server. So authoritative DNS server must advertise its information to what DNS server? See, go back to our hierarchy.
Top level.
Right, top level.
Top level DNS server.
Right, top level DNS server. See, the same thing I am repeating again and again. At some point, you have to understand the concept. So these are all authoritative DNS servers. You can see in the lowest level, there is no real server specified here. These are all authoritative DNS servers. So now in that question 4, the company will create a new authoritative DNS server, and what type of domain is that? .com, right?
Yes, sir.
So since .com, so there will be a new entry specified here with flashbd.com. Can you understand this? Under .com DNS server, they will record under .com DNS server. How? They must advertise their records to .com DNS server. See, I am the new authoritative DNS server, and my server name is this, and my IP is this. Okay. Now, if you go back to our exercise 7 database, you can now, I think, should understand better. So this company will create an authoritative DNS server like google.com, but the information it should provide to top level, right?
Yes, sir.
And now, instead of google.com, in our question is specified as flashbd, right? Flashbd.com, and the ns1.google.com, the server name should be placed here. IP, the given IP should be placed here. So these two records, my company's authoritative DNS must advertise to .com top level DNS server. Is it clear?
Sure.
Okay, now see the answer. 2 entries. Okay, 2 entries, 1 NS, 1 A. Now I am asking from yourself in the message box, what will be those 2 entries in terms of resource record? Resource record means 4 tuples, right?
Yes.
So you have to give me the answer in message box. Try yourself. You can take help from this information. So google.com will be flashbd.com, fine. Then there will be 1 NS entry, there will be 1 A entry. Just specify these 2 entries in the message box. Take your time, 3 minutes, and then place your answer in the message box. Everybody, please participate. Doesn't matter your answer is right or wrong. At least you have some idea about the answer, solution. You can give one by one. Write one answer and then write the second line according to our question. Okay, now let me go back to this question. Okay, these are the information. Okay, Bidhan, your idea is okay, but see, we have two types of entries. One is NS, one is A. In case of NS, if you go through that record type, in case of NS, the name will be the domain fine, but the value will be the name of the server. In case of NS, you cannot specify IP. Okay. And in case of TTL, I think we can use the default one. We can write TTL, or it doesn't matter, the default, or you can use like infinite. No answer received yet other than Bidhan's. Bidhan, okay. Rohim. Very good, Rohim. Close. Okay, Ashrafun and Mufail, I think we have to maintain the format of the resource record. There are 4 entries, okay? You have to give 4 entries. Maybe you can omit the last one, TTL, fine. But you can, as our previous example, if you see here, you can see they have used IN, okay? IN last. So you can also use IN. TTL doesn't matter in our case, but you have to specify the first name, value, and type. And then in the last entry, you can put IN like this. Okay, now let me give you the answer. Entry 1 and entry 2. So first entry will be flashbd.com. This is the domain name. Then this domain name will be used for authoritative DNS. So what is the name of the authoritative DNS? flashbd.com, right? And this is the server name. So when you specify the domain name, then the server name, then the type is NS, and the last entry put IN, no problem. Now, definitely we have to give the IP address, dns1.flashbd.com, and then the corresponding IP address. What is the IP address? 128.1, is it 119? 119. 119.1 dot what is given here?
40.
40, right? Okay, 40, right? So the IP will be this, and then type will be A, and last entry you keep the same. Now you can match your answer with my answer. Even if your answer is wrong, but you have tried, it is better for you to understand. Easier for you to understand. But if you don't try, if you only see the solution, it will be difficult to understand. So that's why I ask you to participate in the class. Anybody has any question in this answer? Okay, clear? Okay, then
clear.
Okay, next, last question. What resource records do you need to put your company's DNS? Again, this company's DNS server is what type of server?
Authoritative, sir.
Very good. Very good. Authoritative DNS server. So authoritative DNS server must contain mapping of all servers under the company, right? So that is your responsibility as a system administrator probably now to add those entries as resource records under that company's DNS server. So how many entries we will need? First you have to think, because this is the authoritative DNS. How many web servers are there? 2 web servers, right?
The 2 web server.
So for 2 web servers, you have to give how many entries?
4 entries.
2 entries, right? Because 2 physical servers, so you have to give 2 entries in the authoritative DNS server. Okay. Then you have 1 email server. For email server, how many entries we need? That is the question. See, for email server, we need 2 entries. 1 entry for type MX. Can you remember? There was one type. There was one type here, type MX, right? So whenever you implement a DNS email server, you have to put an entry in the authoritative DNS or local DNS about type MX. Okay. And second, also you have to put a type A. See, for type NS or type MX, you must have a corresponding type A entry also. Otherwise, you cannot specify the IP address. So for email, you have to give 2 entries. So all those entries must be in the resource records of the company's DNS server. Now it says one, okay, another one entry for CNAME. What is the purpose of CNAME? Anybody? What is the purpose of CNAME? Canonical name. Aliasing, right?
Yes,
Host
sir.
aliasing and mail server aliasing. So sometimes if we don't need that, we don't need to put that entry. Okay, so for CNAME, it is not mandatory, but sometimes if we want to put alias, if I want to put alias names, in that case we have to use CNAME. Now in this question, if you see in this question, there was one requirement of, see, internet users can also access the web server by this. Now if you give www.google.com, then google.com comes, right? If you give google.com, then what happens?
It also comes.
Also comes, right? Now this is the point. So if you see, if you specify google.com, by default it also goes to web server. But if you give ftp.google.com, if you give mail.google.com, okay, so that means when you give google.com, then ftp.google.com will not work, right? Mail.google.com will not work. That means what? That means actually when you say google.com in the DNS server, there is specified, that it will give us the default web server. Did you get my point? When we say google.com, it will not give us ftp.com, mail.com. It will give us only www.google.com. That is defined. Not clear? Okay, what it says here, see, internet users can also access the web server by www.flashbd.com. That means when we give only flashbd.com, it will go to web server. When we give www.flashbd.com, also it will go to the web server.
Absolutely.
So this means web server will be accessible in any case, only flashbd.com or www.flashbd.com. This is the idea. So this is kind of like canonical name, right? www.flashbd.com will be the real name and flashbd.com will be the nickname. So there is another entry according to the question needed, that is we can use the type is CNAME. So there will be, right, there will be 5 entries. Okay, now please try again using the message box those 5 entries. Okay, first give me the entries for web server one by one. So web server entries, okay, 2 entries for web servers. So what are the 2 entries? This will be like okay, you give answer first, then I will show you the solution. Everybody please try. Two entries for web server only first. So what will be the first entry? The first entry will be like this. What are the IP addresses? 55 and 56, right? 55 and 56, right?
56.
Okay, so the first entry will be 55, right? And the second entry will be similarly just another entry 56. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now one entry for CNAME. Okay, CNAME entry I am coming last. What will be the entry for mail server? You have to put the name of the mail server first. Okay, mail server.flashbd.com. Is it the name? Mail server.flashbd.com. So again, you have to first put an entry, but type will be now not NS. It will be
MX.
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 Right? MX means mail exchange. So definitely in your DNS server, you have to put one entry whenever you want to configure an email server. You have to have this entry in the DNS server. And then, as I said, the second one should be one type A entry. but in this case, it will be mail server. That means server name, and then what is the IP address?
60.
60. So put 60 like this entry, okay? So it is 60. So see, again we have one entry for MX. That means it has a mail exchange entry, and definitely with the server name, and then the second entry, IP address of the corresponding server name with type A. Simple. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, one last entry will be needed for CNAME. Now, why CNAME? Because we wanted to create an entry with the alias name. If you see, in case of CNAME, the name is the alias name for some canonical name. That means the first tuple will be the nickname, and the value will be the real name. Okay, so in this case, it will be like
www.flashbd.com.
right. First one will be www.flashbd.com. Then second one will be flashbd. Now you can say nickname is a smaller, but canonical name is larger. But in this case, vice versa. But actually, in our case, flashbd.com, it is the real name, right?
Yes, sir.
According to the question, but sometimes it's not always like this. Sometimes the real name can be a larger name. So in this example might be confusing, but according to the question, they are asking www.flashbd.com as the alias name. That's why we put in this way. But in some cases, you will find the real name is a very large name and the alias name is a smaller one. Like in this example, in the example here, if you see the www.ibm.com, this is the alias name, but this is the real name. Okay, this is more useful example.
Yes,
Clear? But in our case, since the question asks us in this way, that's why we actually put it. The question says internet users can also access the web server by this. That means this is the nickname. That's why we put this as a nickname and flashbd.com as our real name. Yeah, is it clear now? So see,
Yes,
this
sir.
is a realistic scenario where we have used some example of a company network where they have created some authoritative DNS server, and we got the idea of how that is linked to the top level DNS, and also what type of entries they have to give in the authoritative DNS server also. Any question, anybody? So I think if you understand the examples, basic examples, and these solutions, my suggestion is, some of you still has confusion, I know, but please go back to the example in the textbook. First, understand the basic example. Don't understand the solution if you cannot understand the basic example. That will not be actually feasible. First, understand the basic example, then try to understand the solution. Okay. Any question, anybody? Okay, if no question, let me take the attendance. Please be alert, respond. Today, 24th. Abdullah Al Rifat.
Yes, sir.
Enamul Haq.
Present, sir.
Imam Reza.
Present, sir.
Rokono Jaman Khan.
Yes, sir.
Laila Ishrat. Farah Farzana.
Yes, sir.
Fazle Rabbi.
Yes, sir.
Priyobroto.
Yes, sir.
Ifat Rafsan.
Yes, sir.
Ali Ahmed Khan, Kaushik Devdas,
Yes, sir.
Khurshida Jahan,
Present, sir.
Samir Ahmed,
Yes, sir.
Mahmudul Hassan,
Present, sir.
Fahim Shakil,
Present, sir.
Abu Sajjad, Nibirujjaman Nibir, Sadman Sakib,
Yes, sir.
Adnan Kobir Akon,
Yes, sir.
Taki Yasir present, Shahadat Hussain present, Rakibul Islam,
Yes, sir.
Al Shahriar Hassan,
Yes, sir.
Tanvir Hassan Imon, Sakib Hussain,
Yes, sir.
Mashuke Alam,
Yes, sir.
Sabbir Sarkar,
Yes, sir.
Abrar Sadiq,
Yes, sir.
Ishtiaq Ahmed, Abdullah Al Mufail present, Mahfuzur Rahman Sifat,
Yes, sir.
okay, Shafiqul Islam Nirab,
Yes, sir.
Amanta Hussain,
Present, sir.
Abir Reza Pial,
Yes, sir.
Khondokar Jahidul Islam,
Yes, sir.
Khalid Ridwan Mobin,
Yes, sir.
Shahriaz Rimon,
Present, sir.
Tahmina Tanjin,
Present, sir.
Muhammad Mahfuzur Rahman,
Yes, sir.
Fazila Nubi, Ashrafun Nahar, Ashrafun not present chilo,
Present,
Shifa,
sir.
okay, Shifa Chaudhuri,
Yes, sir.
Mezbahul Alam,
Yes, sir.
Yasir Arafat,
Present, sir.
Sudeep Sarkar, Abdur Rahim,
Sir, Sudeep Sarkar said he's present. He has problem in his mic.
who is present?
Sir, Sudeep Sarkar, he said in the chat box.
Okay. Miraz Farooq,
Yes, sir.
Abu Abdullah, Khondokar Shravan,
Yes, sir.
Shah Alam,
Yes, sir.
Imtiaz Hussain,
Present, sir.
Rifaz Nahian present, Kamrul Islam Tushar, Dihan Pathan,
Present, sir.
Abu Kibriya, Bidhan present, Sakhawat Hussain,
Present, sir.
okay, anyone else present?
স্যার ইনস্টাগ্রামে চাউন স্যার আমার নেট ভালো কাজ করতেছিল না দেখেন স্যার
Ishtiaq present, okay, anyone else? Okay, thank you very much.
So due to network problems, sir, last class, sir, I can present, sir.
You are present in the last class.
Yes, sir.
Did you give your ID in the message box?
Sure, sir.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Walaikum assalam. Dihan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are present. Okay, fine. Okay, thank you. See you in the next class.
Sir, দিয়ে দিয়েছি, sir.